Hi. Good.
Like,
Hello all. Hi, this is LaQueen Battle for Savings Fund Services. Good to see you today. I'm just going to do a little quick introduction. I am a certified nursing assistant, community health advocate here in the Boston Cambridge area, as well as, of course, I just ran for Cambridge City Council and School Committee here in the city, and I'm advocating for safety reform and, of course, supporting the initiatives of my community, especially during this ice raids. I do support the community activism that's going on, but I want full transparency between our government in order to get these detainees released in a prompt manner, as well as back home to their families, and as well as coordinating what our government's agenda is versus what our agenda is too. We want the safety and the security of our community at this time, especially with the upcoming FIFA World Games in the United States, not just in Boston, but in New York and Los Angeles and Atlanta and Florida and all over the United States. But we want full transparency between our government in order to make sure that we have safety and security in our community against any tyranny that's happening between our government and ourselves. And right now, that's not happening. And so we do need to have a good reputation amongst other nations around the world. And right now, we're losing our trust in other foreign governments, which is currently happening right now with the Trump administration. So we are losing our trust, we're losing our allies, we're losing our faith, our relationships with other citizens of other nations around the world. So anyway, I'll try to make this quick presentation. I'll do another presentation about this. This one is regarding the upcoming FIFA World Games in June and July of this year. And they're going to be held at Gillette Stadium here in the city of Boston and throughout Massachusetts, greater Boston area, greater central Boston area, throughout from Boston to Quincy to and then going into Foxborough and Braintree and into Foxborough, the southern part, very far south suburbs of Boston. So I'm gonna do a quick report. This was just a a news article that was published just a week ago, and it was published just a week ago by WVUR, which is a PBS affiliated news station. And it's a wonderful, wonderful article. I want to give credit to the journalist, Andrea Perdomo Hernandez. This was just posted over a week ago. And it led a lot of people to believe that this site right here, which is Gillette Stadium, is going to be hosting the Boston version of the FIFA World Cup. And I was just reading news reports about this. It's always political in New England going on it. These tournaments, these games, there's always something politically happening, and it doesn't deter these games from happening. It just kind of pushes them a little bit farther back. But of course, these FIFA officials were saying that there's really nothing new under the sun, especially when it comes to big, huge tournaments like these, like like the Wimbledon Tennis Championship or like the Olympics around the world, or like, any big, huge tournament game in the world, the NFL, the NBA finals, NFL championship, the soccer championship, anything around these worlds, something always politically motivated comes along. But still, we as a community can stand united and find love and find how we unite during times of tyranny and trouble in our government, and how do we take these times of unity to unite, take these time take sports as a time to unite as a community together. And so this here is the site of the FIFA games here in Boston, and it is just one site. It's the main site, but of course, this is a big event on a small scale. So I'm going to just show you guys a little bit about Gillette Stadium. So this right here is this is a image of Gillette Stadium. Okay. Gillette Stadium, it has issues. It's a good site, but at the same time, it is not, you know, it is it's comparable to other stadiums like the Chicago Bears Stadium or the Dallas Cowboys Stadium or the New York Yankees Stadium. Gillette Stadium is okay, but it still has issues. So they do have parking, parking options and lots, different lots as well. And general parking, and adults with disabilities parking, you know, and different parking options for just a big, huge venue and event like New England Patriots playoffs, or especially with the FIFA World Cup. So again, this is tomorrow. It's going to be a snuff rally. It's happening, setting off the Patriots to the Super Bowl, and this year for the 2026 Super Bowl. But again, these are just options that they do have. They're preparing them for the World Cup that's going to be happening in less than 3 months. Less than 3 months, the World Cup. So they do have this commuter rail is called to Foxborough. I call it the Purple Line, but people call it the commuter rail. And it is a weekday service. It also has weekend options too. Um, and if you go to this GilletteStadium.com website, it will give you the full schedule of the services from Boston. Goes from Boston South Station directly to Foxborough, and then you can take like a 20-minute walk to the stadium. 10 and 15, 20-minute walk. And here's the schedule of events. Again, here's the schedule. If you go in public transportation from South Station to directly to Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, you go to MBTA.com schedules and commuter rail Franklin, this Franklin Foxborough line, and it gives you the whole line all the way from today's a Saturday to Sunday, and it goes from South Station to Franklin or to Foxborough. I think this is Franklin Foxborough, so it's Franklin. So it's Franklin right here. And here is the Franklin Foxborough line that does take you to Gillette Stadium here. Okay, and again, all of this is on the here Forge Park 495. All of this is on the Gillette Stadium website. Okay, Franklin Foxborough, and then or you could take on the weekends it goes to Foxborough, but Monday through Friday it goes to Franklin. I'm not sure if it goes to Foxborough on the weekends. Let me see. Okay, yeah, Foxborough. Oh, here we go. So you go to mbta.com, then you check, choose an origin stop. Then it does have a shuttle in the weekday, a daily shuttle here that will take you from 9 o'clock coming from South Station to it departs and it goes to departs South Station at 9:48, and it goes right here. It goes to the shuttles to where you arrive in Forge Park 495. Let me see how you do this. Okay, so you go to South Station, and then from South Station, you go to South Station weekly, and then you go take all these stops here, and it will take you to Foxborough. And all of this information is available on the MBTA's website. Okay, especially right now because they have a short amount of time to get ready for millions amounts of visitors. I'm not just talking about like, oh, it's just a weekend. I'm talking about this is a 2-week event for millions of visitors, tripling, doubling size of Boston. Okay, so here's another thing right quickly. So the population of Boston. Okay, the population of Boston, as because right now they're going to be doing another census pretty quickly. Okay, they're going to be doing another annual US census pretty quickly. Okay, that's coming up really quick. The average census of Boston is over 5 million people for Greater Million Boston. Okay, so it's about 1 to 2 million, 1 million people in the city of Boston. Okay, now can you imagine the number of people visiting Boston for the World Cup? Okay, so if I go to Google or Bing or whatever, it's going to be about 500,000 people. Okay, so it's going to be about 500,000 people. That's almost double the size of the city of Boston visiting for just this 2 week event. Okay, in the city. Okay, because the FIFA's in New York, because the FIFA's in Atlanta, Chicago's all over. Okay, they're doing different sites all over the world. So it is 500,000 people visiting the city. Okay, in 2 weeks. Okay, so can you imagine the stress that just all these officials are going through just to prepare? Okay, imagine preparing. I mean, not preparing. We need a month. It'll be okay. No, they should prepare this a year ago, but there you have it. Okay, and it says here on AI says being AI mode, they expect it to be the international domestic visitors, and some projections indicating even higher overall tourism numbers during the period. And Boston, which is going to Foxborough, will host 7 matches, okay, during July. And it's expected to bring approximately $500,000 to the city. Okay, so you just can't sit on your toes and not do anything. Okay, can't be just going like doing your everyday thing. Okay, you're really going to have to be on your p's and q's about this because it's expected to bring money into the city, money in and money out into the city. Okay, so people are going to be going in and out, and there's some other issues going on in and out when you have an event that such as a large scale. You got to think about public safety. You got to think about trafficking. You got to think about protecting the community, protecting children, protecting college students, protecting elderly people. You got to really think about those issues as well as, of course, the political events that's going on in our community currently at this moment with ICE and the protests that's going on with the deaths of some people that just have passed in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Okay, so we got to think about this. The city has a plan. I spoke with some officials at the MBTA, and they're like, "Well, we got a team that's coordinating and that's getting this together." I'm like, "Yeah, that's great. That's great, but you guys got to think about, okay, we got 500,000 people, okay, coming into the city in 2 weeks. Okay, we got in 2 weeks time for 2 weeks, and they're gonna bring $500,000 into our city. Okay, that's like that's a city budget for like the next until the next presidency. Okay, so this right here, this event could decide the future of who the next president of the United States could be. I mean, seriously, this event. Okay, so it's a lot of political issues that's going on. On top of that, on top of everything else, the money, the security, you got to think about insurance for the athletes. You got to think about insurance for protection, not just for protection for the athletes, but protection for the political officials that are going to be there, protection for the referees, protection for the medical personnel that are going to be there, medical EMT doctors are going to be there, protection for the media, the international media. I'm not talking about your local TV station. I'm talking about international people from all around the world are going to be coming to this event. Paris, Germany, Hong Kong, Japan, China, all around the world are going to come to this event. Okay. You got to think about protection for them, as well as, of course, our special people, special delegates, special ambassadors, special people coming up from all around the world to this event. Okay. So you have to think about the special people, and you have to think about those regular people trying to get in and out of the city on a normal day, not even thinking about FIFA, but we're trying to, scoot to our regular day 9 to 5 jobs. Okay. We're trying to make our own money at the same time money is coming in and out of the city. So of course, the economic impacts will be big with 500,000 people coming to the city. $500 million, $500 million, and on top of that, a huge surge of transportation. I don't think the MBTA is going to be able to handle this. They're going to have shuttle buses everywhere. On top of that, how they're going to affiliate, coordinate that one little bitty train coming from South Station to uh, Foxborough, this little special shuttle, for a 2 week event. I'm not really sure how the MBT is going to handle this or coordinate it. I'm really not sure, but it's going to say the 2026 World Cup FIFA is set to be the largest sporting event in history, with 48 teams competing across North America. So forget Trump, okay? I'm talking about like Obama, Clinton, Bush, Jimmy Carter, everybody combined. Okay. So you gotta think about the special people. Those are the special people. Okay. He's coming to our city for 2 weeks. Okay. So we got to be on our P's and Q's. But it's gonna be a great event, and WBUR did a good thank you, Google AI, for that, for those stats. And this is by WBUR, a PBS affiliate. And it said here that in the last 6 months, this was just recently, the most recent update article I saw, January 21st of this year. It's a 6-week tournament, 2 weeks here in Boston, 7 matches here at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, with 20,000 people per game, okay, which is a third of the size of the stadium's capacity. Okay, you got to think about the weather, because it's going to be early spring on top of that, coming out of the winter that we have right now, this long winter, early spring, spring, early summer. Okay. And then on top of that, he says, Erica Maza, the T senior advisor for special projects, has said the amount of people the T needs to move per match is at least 4 times more than for an Army Navy game. And you know how big Army Navy games can get for Taylor Swift. That Taylor Swift Beyonce concert I worked at was huge, packed out. And that, Taylor Swift performed the whole week, even in rain. And so did Beyonce. So it was crazy. And it's much greater than what we have to do for regular concerts or Patriots games. And it even gets bigger. When Paul McCartney was at the Red Sox Stadium, when Bruce Springsteen comes to the Patriots or the Red Sox Stadium, then it's big. So Bruce Springsteen is also set to, I think he's also set to come back on the road again. So anyway, he says construction started on the 30 to build a new extended platform, more accessible for people with ADA capabilities. It started on a $35 million project last summer, and there's little room for error. Here is a new platform to coordinate to going to Foxborough from South Station and in and out of north and south of Massachusetts. Now, there is no Amtrak that goes to Foxborough. Okay. Now, I'm not volunteering information. I'm just telling you what it is. It is what it is. Okay. You can't just not volunteer information. You're just saying it is what it is. This is a huge problem. People got to know about it. If you either face a solution or you don't face a solution, you're going to be in the issue, or you're not going to be out of the issue. You're going to be in the problem, or you're going to be out of the problem. Okay. The issue is they don't have a lot of transportation issues. They don't have a lot of transportation. This right here is the only option into the city of Foxborough, okay? This right here, this commuter rail platform is the only public accessible, okay, access into the Gillette Stadium. There are no public buses. There's no MBTA in Foxborough. There's no transit buses. There's no special wheelchair delivery of the ride services in Foxborough, nothing like that. It's either taxi, Uber, Lyft, or you're out for bringing your own car. And they rarely even have room for bike paths. Okay. So this is really, really, really extreme. And people need to understand that, as well as the MBTA and the MassDOT, and as well as the Federal Department of Transportation in Washington, D.C. needs to understand this problem. It's not just in Boston, it's in other cities as well. New York, Chicago, LA, Atlanta need to make sure that there is adequate transportation adequate adequate transportation for the general public in and out of the sites, these sporting sites. Okay, because anything could come in and out of there and cause an issue and derision for these events. Okay, anything could happen. And we want to make sure that the public, the general public, as well as any other special people are protected. Okay, because this is their only in and out of the city. I'm not just talking about special people. I'm not talking about rich and famous people. I'm talking about the people that we need to work this event. I'm talking about we need our athletes. And you'd be surprised how many athletes, how many professional athletes, how many professionals, okay, media, athletes, journalists, security use public transportation every single day. You'd be surprised. And that's not going to make a difference on anybody. So anybody can use public transportation. But for the city of Foxborough to only have one commuter rail and not an Amtrak and not any other public service that goes from Quincy or that goes to Braintree, that goes any other way, that's an issue right there. And it needs to be addressed. And the city of Boston and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts only has, you know, um, 3 months, less than 3 months, February, March, April, okay, to prepare for this sporting event, okay? And then on top of that, you have to think about, okay, you have to think, um, mental health, EMS, um, you know, um, bomb squads, extra things in place to make sure to protect the public for anything that could happen, like the Boston Marathon or anything could happen. So you want to protect the public, the general public, from any derision, like I said before, that may cause that may occur during this event. And like I said before, I'm going to send this to the media too, because they need to know, they need to understand why is this happening and why this is the most updated article. This is the most updated article, okay? It's updated January 21st, okay? And this is the commuter rail here, okay? There's only one public option in the city of Foxborough, and it is this right here. And that is a really big issue that needs to be addressed in less than 3 months. Okay. And thank goodness the Super Bowl is not happening in Boston. But if you have 500,000 people coming into the city for less than 2 weeks, okay, bringing money in and out of the city, and they're not just the general public, but they're also our special people that we need, our athletes, our media, our officials to run the event. And this is their only option of transportation, that needs to be addressed too as well. And that's what I'm concerned about, as well as any general person is concerned about too. Okay, it needs to be addressed. All right, and on top of that, you got to think about the weather. Of course, it's June, so there's going to be rain. May, April, April, May is rain, but it might be rain. It might be related issues too, but you never know, rain, thunder, but still, the Gillette Stadium doesn't have an over covering like other stadiums do. It's just open space, you know. And on top of that, they're still doing construction on it, but it looks pretty good. Okay, so it says, last month, MBTA Police Chief Kenneth Green told T-Board members, we don't have an update on World Cup plans. There's just too many unknowns right now. Okay, just so you know, just in case, we're thinking about it. You were thinking about it. A report on World Cup safety, okay, says safety of transportation, preparation by the state's executive office of public safety and security last month pointed to funding complexities in several key locations yet to be identified that needs to be addressed before all planning and mitigation strategies can be outlined. Okay, so what they're saying is they don't have enough money. They got money. Okay, there was another report that FIFA just allowed at the city of Boston over $100 to $200 million to make sure that they were coordinating this. Okay, so the FIFA, the city of Boston, for this event. I mean, they've given money to this to make sure this event is coordinated correctly. I'm not saying $1,000. I'm saying $1 million. I'm saying they've given them money to make sure that they've signed the check to make sure you guys got what we need and make sure it's coordinated correctly. Okay. So they're here. A key location that hasn't yet been identified is where fans who don't have game tickets will gather. Again, ticketing. Oh my God, it's another huge issue. Organizers call these fan festivals. Who don't have game tickets. Well, like fan festivals, like, do you want to go to downtown, you know, Boston City Hall? Do you want to go to the Red Sox Stadium for a fan festival? Do you want to go to, BU or Northeastern or Harvard or, MIT? Like, where do you guys want to have these nice little fan festivals? Do you want to go to Worcester State University to have these fan festivals? Do you want to go to, like, where do you want to have these huge, big, fan festivals to have celebrate, World Cup and what's going on in the community, which would be amazing. And he said nearly 2 million people visited the fan festival in Doha during the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. So can you imagine 2 million people visiting the fan festival? And you know how it is, especially when the Olympics happen. Okay, how big those fan festivals can get. Sometimes you get in and out of trouble just in those fan festivals. So it's pretty cool. And again, it says the Boston Consulting Group estimates 450 million visitors from nations all around the world. So that's 500,000 people in 2 weeks. Not just 500,000 people, different languages, different cultures, different food, plus they're bringing their families, they're bringing their money, they're bringing their passports, their visas, all their culture with them in 2 weeks. So some of them may go, some of them may visit, or some of them may stay. So you also got to think about that too as well. Okay, and Airbnb, another huge issue. People, I went to a council meeting. They're talking about Airbnb is going to raise their rates. People are going to start opening up their houses and raise their rates up to people in Quincy and Braintree just because of this event. So it's crazy. I haven't even looked at tickets right now. The ticket cost for the FIFA is crazy. It's crazy. So here is President Trump and of the United States. And here's also the director of FIFA. The director of FIFA here, which is he is one of the directors. And they're talking about the Trump administration's foreign policy is also subject to debate, with some nations may boycott the tournament. They're talking about in Africa right now. Some countries in Africa may be intent on boycotting the World Cup in America. Say, don't come to the World Cup in America. Don't even think about coming to America. It's not safe. Don't come. So it says, although a mass boycott of the FIFA World Cup, not in Boston, I'm talking about all of the United States, remains unlikely. And it says captains of 7 different European nations were supposed to wear this special armband during the 2022 World Cup hosted by Qatar. But FIFA threatened players with a booking for wearing these armbands called One Love. So it's just like political innuendos like that, which like sometimes in the Olympic they're banned for doing anything political out of context. That may be out of context with what's happening right now with what the Olympics may stand for, any major tournament. But here's a FIFA president, Gianni Infantino, and President Donald Trump of the United States. This is again FIFA. Okay, so he's like, well, we got under control. Okay, so this is President Trump. Now, this is a FIFA president. He's laughing, but when you think about soccer, okay, football is the sport that unites the world. Football, they say, it's called football in other parts of the world rather than the United States. Football is what unites the world. Okay. London, Paris, Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, Nairobi, just Australia, Canada, um, uh, China, Tokyo. It's always football, 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 and not baseball, not American football. I'm talking about soccer, soccer, worldwide football. It's what unites the world, especially when we're going through television, especially when we go through times of war, and it's what we can find will come together. So he's just laughing at Trump. I think it's crazy. But it says here, according to the 2026 FIFA World Cup regulations, displaying political, religious, or personal messages is strictly prohibited by World Football governing body, whether the action is made before, during, or after the match. This same rule applies to press conferences, training sessions, and any official activity organized by FIFA. Okay, so like I said before, world football is what unites us. Okay, it's what unites us. And unfortunately, especially when we're dealing with Gaza, the war on Gaza, 2 years ago in 2024, and currently right now, the war in Gaza, Israel has just found its last hostage, but still, the war in Gaza is going on. There have been a lot of instances where we lost faith in each other as a community and as a world citizen. We have to now remain united and stand against hate and tyranny. And it's powerful that, we still have permission as a country, the United States, for FIFA to accept us and for FIFA to allow us to come in and to use their tournament. I think it's amazing that we got permission, especially dealing with the way China has been acting towards international relations. It's ridiculous. The World Health Organization and all the, everything else that has been going on is tremendously, insulting to the world, to, people all around the world, and the visa regulations that he's doing on the tariffs and the visa regulations that he's doing on different countries and citizens and residents and tourists. They're telling them over 60 different countries, telling them you cannot come into the United States if you are from this country, which is crazy and ridiculous. As well as he's limiting, barring students, international students, taking away their rights from the Supreme Court. I mean, it's ridiculous. And then at a time like this where we have, have the World Cup to unite us instead of divide us, I think that also needs to be stated. So, and it's talking about, will ICE be at it? Of course, ICE, there will be federal agents for protection of the public. But then it's saying, well, this person, he's saying one of the big issues is if you go back to the club World Cup last summer in Florida, there were people who were saying, Latino people who were saying, we're not going to go to World Cup games, but because it was announced that ICE agents would be at attendance. But he says, when asked directly, another person in this interview, whether he believes ICE agents will be present inside the World Cup stadiums, Mr. Chadwick in this article said, from my perspective, yes, because I think what we know is that the Trump administration's view of the world, certainly on American territory, is that they ultimately have jurisdiction on what happens. Okay, so he's saying that ICE has jurisdiction. Now, some say they do, some say they won't. And right now, as you know, ICE has just infiltrated in Minneapolis a Ecuadorian, or it was an Ecuadorian embassy. They busted through the doors of an Ecuadorian embassy in the city of Minneapolis, and that was a no-no against international law. And so we need to understand exactly what Trump's agenda is or what is going on, because I don't know the Queen battle, don't know everything, but I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to study, I'm willing to read. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm willing to know how I can work and how I can help coordinate the situation, or how I could be of need to other people at this time, especially right now with what's going on with ICE and immigration in this country, which is ridiculous. It is ridiculous about what people, well, residents who've been residents all their lives here in this country have to go through, have got permission, have got their green card, have got lawyers, have went to court, have signed the papers, have done everything. And now they're told they have to go back to their home country because of a new administration's office does not like them because of the color of their skin, or because of their culture, or because of whatever reason that they want to, because of whatever agenda that it is. It is ridiculous. And I don't agree with it. But we have to stay united together. We have to find a way out of hate. It is really ridiculous. I still don't understand it, but we still have to find a way out of hate. So, but here is again, again, that's the president of FIFA, one of the directors, Vice President Gianni Infantino with Trump, and then also neighbors from the Quincy Braintree area were saying that that they were. This was just 2 years ago that they had issues with parking at the Gillette Stadium, and Gillette Stadium was actually talking about continuing to increase parking for homeowners in the city, in the area. And they were talking about Walpole residents raised concerns over plans for new parking spaces at Gillette Stadium. And this was just 4 years ago in 2022, March 2022. And the residents, even in Walpole area, were concerned about what was going on. So again, there's issues with Gillette, not enough parking, public safety, safety of the general public, as well as, of course, the constituents and the delegates that are going to be there, as well as protecting our athletes. We also need to make sure that the visas, that's another huge, huge issues. How do you expect to have a tournament without people to come in and run the tournament, to play for the tournament, while making sure that you have your full international law coordinated correctly? How do you take away the visas of an athlete who's coming into your country in order to bring in monetary value, in order to bring in economic relief to your country, in order to help your country, but you're taking away his visa and not giving him permission to do so? That is ridiculous, and that needs to be addressed by somebody. They need to be addressed. You're taking away 60 visas, okay? 60 visas from foreign countries, and you expect to have a World Cup in the United States, and you're taking away 60 visas from residents, from people all around the world. That's crazy. So this is just one report today. I really thank you guys for your time. And I'll be discussing a little more about this in upcoming weeks. I thank God that He's got me here for a reason. And I'm just continually praying for the safety and security of our nation at this time, especially what we're doing right now with, working together as a community, despite what's going on right now with the Trump administration and the attacks on our community with Renee Good that was lost, with Keith Porter, life was lost, as well as with Alex Preddy. And there's more than 10 to 15, 20 people that have lost their lives that have or have not been reported. Okay, so please continue to pray for the people that they're going through issues right now, dealing with police custody, and continue to lift up our community during this time. Okay. All right. So this is LaQueen. This is a couple of sites for the Gillette Stadium. This is a little bit what I gave today. It's not everything, but again, how do I say? So Boston has a lot of work. Okay. They're not going to be able to get everything done in 3 months' time, but they're going to have to push it. They're going to have to keep pushing until they get it done. And scrum together and push until they get it done. We're just going to take a little bit here from this city, a little bit from New York, a little bit from LA, a little bit from Chicago, a little bit from Atlanta. Take some people, take some bodies, and bring them together to make sure that this thing comes up, and make sure that these things happen. Get people in and out, and make sure everything's coordinated correctly. Okay. So I really do appreciate you guys. God bless you all. Happy holidays. Happy Valentine's Day. We want to make sure, again, we have a safe and a healthy event. Make sure the athletes are coordinated. Event transportation needs to be addressed. The visa, international visa, needs to be addressed because you got to have these athletes come in. You got to make sure they're coordinated. And right now, with the process, it took Nicki Minaj, okay, $1 million. Okay, and having everything that her whole career, Nicki Minaj's 40-year career doing music, and it took her all of this sudden, the Trump's presidency, to get a green card. Okay, her to finally address it, like, hey, I'm not for her to finally address it. It took her 40 years to finally address this issue. Like something's not going on. So we need to make sure that we have this to coordinate it correctly. Okay. And I love music, I love music, but we got to protect for the and security of our residents and our people. Okay. So pray for our athletes, pray for our citizens, pray for our community, and pray for our cities. So happy FIFA, happy World Cup. So God bless you all, and y'all take care. This is LaQueen Battle for Safe Responder Services. Happy Valentine's. Bye.